I feel it is necessary that I invite your attention to another ayah of the Quran. That is ayah number 59 of Surah An-Nisa. Here you have ayah number 58 and 59 too. This ayah gives you in further detail how this principle of divine sovereignty can be enforced in Islamic State. Please focus your attention on ayah number 59. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. Fa in tanaza'tum fi shay'in farudduhu ila Allah wal Rasul in kuntum tu'minuna billahi wal yawmil akhir zalika khairun wa ahsanu ta'wila. O you who profess to believe, obey Allah and obey His messenger, and those among you who are at the helm of affairs. And if you have difference of opinion regarding anything, then refer it to Allah and His messenger. If you have real belief in Allah and the hereafter, the day of judgment, this is good not only in itself, but regarding the final result also. Now here we find the imperative atiyu repeated twice. Atiyu Allah wa atiyu Rasul, but not thrice. For the third time, it is not repeated. There could be two modes, either atiyu covering all the three. Atiyu Allah wa Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. One atiyu was also sufficient. Atiyu Allah wa Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. O you who believe or profess to believe, obey Allah and His messenger, and those among you who are at the helm of affairs, who are commanding your affairs, who are managing your affairs. The other thing could be ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul wa ati'u ulil amri minkum. But leaving these two modes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has adopted. He repeated ati'u for Rasul, but not for ulil amr. What does it mean? Obedience for Allah and obedience for the messenger, they are absolute, permanent. But for other people who are the leaders of the community, rulers of the community, people at the helm of affairs of the community, their obedience is limited by the injunctions of the Quran and the Sunnah. They can't demand absolute obedience. None. Not even Abu Bakr demanded absolute obedience. What to speak of anybody else? The first caliph, he couldn't demand that you have to obey me anyhow. In the very first sermon that he delivered after that bay'ah of Khilafah, after that oath of allegiance for the caliphate, he said, if I go on the right path, it's your duty to obey me. If I turn to something wrong, it's your duty to correct me. And a still more interesting event took place during the caliphate of the second caliph, Umar radiallahu ta'ala. To a congregation of Muslims, he asked a question. What will be your attitude if I go on the straight path? Everybody said, we shall obey you. Listen and obey. Nasma wa nuti'. We listen to your command and we shall obey. Then he asked, and if I turn to any wrong way? A person stood up from the congregation. He drew his sword and he said, we shall rectify you with this. And Umar prayed and thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this community is not a blind, it's not a herd of sheep or goats. If they are following me, if they are obeying me, they are obeying me with the open eyes. We shall rectify you with this sword. So this is very important. Now, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ. Now, if there is a difference of opinion, this is a very important point. The Ulul Amr or the Caliph, or whosoever he is, he has given an order, an ordinance, for example, he has issued. I think it is contravening the limits of the Sharia. What should we do? The instruction has been given here. فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. If you have difference of opinion regarding some issue, then refer to Allah and His Messenger only. The final authority, the permanent authority, that is of Allah and His Messenger. But how to do it? Actually, in principle, this instruction is complete, but how to do it? Thanks to the lengthy process of social evolution and the development of social institutions, and we must admit this has happened in the West, not in the East. These social institutions, this concept that a modern state consists of, and it has three basic pillars: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. This is a recent development in human thought. Concept of state and having three, although they say press is the fourth pillar. But actually, these are the three: the judiciary and the executive and the legislature. Now it is very clear. If there is a difference of opinion, where to go? Go and knock the door of the superior judiciary. Because now you have a constitution. And it is laid down in the constitution that there can be no law can be made, no legislation can be done repugnant to the Quran and the Sunnah. And I feel that such and such piece of legislation which has been passed by the legislature, by the parliament, or such and such ordinance that has been issued by the executive, it's contravening the limits of the Sharia. Well, I have the right to go and knock the door of the superior courts. They will decide it. And they will keep in view only the injunctions of the Quran and the Sunnah, nothing else. Because permanent obedience is only to Allah and His Messenger, to none else.